Welcome back. This is the third and final video for Word project number 2. In our last project, we set the margins and we changed some of the font types. In this section, we are going to be looking at proofreading our document and actually creating a report. So in the last assignment, we created this multi-level report, or multi-level list, I'm sorry. And so in this one, we are going to be creating a report. So here is some information that somebody has already put together. And so one of the first things that we want to do is actually proofread a document. Even though we have spell check, even though we have grammar check, it's your job to make sure that everything is correct. Some errors can slip through spell check and grammar check. So it's your responsibility to make sure that you've read through and that everything is correct. So if I'm reading through a document and something is misspelled, and you say, well, you know, spelling check didn't check it. Well, spelling check's there to help you, but it's still your job to make sure that everything is spelled correctly. And as you can see here on the screen, there are 3 things that are listed as being misspelled, when in fact they're actually spelled correctly. What spell check does is it simply goes to its dictionary and sees, does this word exist in my dictionary right now? And not every word may be included in the word dictionary. So you may type a word that you know is spelled correctly, but spell check continues to come up and say that it's spelled incorrectly. This happens a lot with names. So if you're somebody who maybe spells your name in a little bit of a different way, and every time you spell your name in Word, it comes up and it tells you that it's misspelled, even though you know you're typing it correctly. That's only telling you that right now it's not included in its dictionary. So words can be marked as misspelled when they're not. Things that are misspelled can be marked as correct. So it's always your job to make sure that you are proofreading. Like I said, this last section deals with proofreading marks. Your textbook goes through several corrections on page 60 that you are going to have to make to the report that you're going to be working on. Let me flip to that page in my book real quick just so I can access that. One thing that it talks about is the style. Okay, most of these things you're going to know how to fix. It's going to ask you to change things to a 2-inch top margin. We just talked about that in the last video, so you should know how to do that. Changing the font and size, we've talked about that. But then it's going to tell you to do a main heading title and a paragraph heading, and these all refer to what's called a style. And a style is simply a collection of different formats that you can apply all at one time. So for example, when I'm looking here at the Silk Road, okay, right now it's just in a regular typeface, but here in the home ribbon up here, you'll see styles, and what this lets me do is all at one time either select a different font, a different size, color, make it bold, make it italics. There's all of these different things that I can apply all at one time simply by selecting a style. So I am going to highlight my title. And if I click on the down arrow with the line, it's going to open up all of the different styles that are available to me. And I am going to select a title, and you'll see that it automatically changes there on my back screen. So let me do that again. If you're watching the screen behind this little menu, as soon as I come over top of title, you'll see the words get big, it underlines it. It might be a different font type, it is a different font type. It's now Times New Roman instead of Calibri. So it makes some of those changes for you all at one time. So that's what a style is. It lets you select multiple text formatting options all at one time by selecting a style, and that's located on the home ribbon in the Styles section. That is really all that you need to know for the last section. There is a lot of things that you're going to be changing, but they've already been covered. So as I said, changing the margins. You're going to be changing the line spacing, which was covered in the last video, so you should know what you're doing there. We just covered style, so you should be good on that one as well. One thing I'll cover just in case you're not real sure, but that's bold, italic, and underline. So let's say I wanted to come in here and I wanted to make the word Chinese italics. I would highlight the word, and then in the home ribbon, we're still in the home ribbon, in the font section, this bottom row, you're going to see these three icons. B stands for bold, I stands for italic, and U stands for underline, and they actually look exactly like what they would do for the word. So I'm going to italicize the word Chinese, and you'll see it kind of moves everything to the upper left corner. So let's say I've done that, but now I decide I don't want to do that. How do I undo what I just did? I'm going to highlight it again. I'm going to go back up, and I'm simply going to click on that I, and that's all I have to do. One thing I did want to point out to you was what we call the ghost menu. So I'm going to highlight the word China, and then as I move very slowly to the upper right hand corner, you're going to see this menu appear. This is what's called the ghost menu. As I move to the bottom left, you'll see it start to disappear. And then it can come back, and it can disappear and come back. That's why we call it the ghost menu, because it kind of appears and disappears like a ghost would. And what this lets us do is pick some of the most commonly used formatting things from the font section, and that way you don't have to keep going up to the ribbon. So if you are doing something like bolding, italicizing, or underlining something, you don't actually have to go the whole way up to the menu. You can simply use that ghost menu. Alright, at this point you should have all of the information that you need to complete pages 59 through 63, and that will take you through the end of our project. So at this point you've completed the entire chapter. Both the multi-level list and the report that you created on these pages is going to be turned in by the due date. If you're not sure what the due date is, you need to check either Edmodo, Schoology, or eChalk, depending on what page we're using in the class at this particular point in time. So go ahead and check those. Make sure that you're turning it in on time. Remember, if you need to go back and watch any of the videos, they're there for you to watch. So if you get stuck, feel free, go back, watch them, pause it, replay it, rewind it, take as many notes as you want. These are here for you to do well in this class, and I hope that you use them.